Hey guys, welcome back to another video. As you guys can see by the title, today's video is going to be an eyebrow tutorial with this product that I use that's only $3. If you guys like to see how I achieve these brows, please make sure to stay tuned to this video. Before we get into this video, please make sure to leave a like on this video, comment video suggestions that you guys like to see, and turn on post notifications. So we're just going to go right in with the video. To start off with, you want to make sure that you have a touch-up mirror so that you can see everything up close when you're doing your brows. The brows is like one of the most important parts of your makeup, so making sure that you have a touch-up mirror is extremely important. What I like to do, and it's very important step before doing your brows, you want to make sure that your brows are groomed. As far as like making sure that they're clean, not any extra product, any extra chemicals, whatever you want to call it, all on your brows. Also very important to have an eyebrow archer and tweezers to make sure that you don't have any extra hairs and everything like that. So doing this step, or making sure that your brows are groomed and stuff, is definitely very, very important. Some people get their brows done professionally when it comes to like arching them and stuff like that. Me, I don't get my eyebrows done professionally. I just do them myself. So I make sure before I do my brows that I don't have any extra brow hairs, because if you have extra brow hairs when you do your brows, like filling them in or putting concealer around them, you'll be able to see those hairs throughout your brows, and it'll look very tacky and it just will not look right. There's not really any specific brand of eyebrow archer or tweezers that I use. I don't really recommend a certain brand. Some people are picky with that. So if you're picky with that, then you're open to using any brand, or any brand that you want to use. I just use like Family Dollar brand, really don't matter. Then I'm gonna go in with tweezers. I feel like the tweezers does what the archer doesn't do. Sometimes you won't be able to get every single hair with the archer, so I just go in with tweezers, mainly at the end. When you're grooming your brows, you want to make sure that you do get your whole brow or whatever is necessary. But I do like to focus more on the end, because I feel like we all want a very precise tail end when it comes to doing our brows. So when you are using the tweezers, I feel like you really want to definitely make sure that you pay attention to the end of your brows. Now I'm just going in with the spoolie. Make sure that you have a spoolie. A spoolie is very, very important when you are doing your brows. Like, you most definitely need to make sure that you have a spoolie when you are doing your brows. So what I like to do, I start to go in with my spoolie. The spoolie that I use, like this on the end of my eyebrow pencil, I use that spoolie and brush my eyebrow hairs up. And when you brush your eyebrow hairs up with the spoolie, you're able to see exactly what shape your eyebrows are. Then it'll be a lot easier for you to fill in your brows when you know exactly what shape they are. And so the next step that I do is I like to go in with my powder that I use to like set my face. I use this powder to set my brows, because sometimes we can have like an oily brow and it'll look like very shiny stuff, and we don't like that. So when you set your brows with a powder, it allows it to look a lot more mattifying, and it just looks very, very good in the end when you do it like this. So I definitely recommend it. It's something I've been doing lately that I just started doing, and I really do love it. So this next step may be a little confusing or whatnot, but I like to use edge control for my brows. I don't put it over my whole brow. I just like to put it at the beginning. And when you put the edge control at the beginning of your brows, you're able to stick the brows up. You guys know how like when people do their brows and it looks like a gradient effect. Doing this, it definitely allows you to have that gradient uplifted, natural effect. You don't want your brows to be looking unnatural. So you don't have to use edge control. You can use actual eyebrow gel. That's like the most practical product to use. But if you don't have, then I definitely recommend edge control. And this is the product you guys have been waiting for. This product is literally only $3 at your local beauty supply store. I've been using this pencil ever since I started doing my brows. I love it a lot. Make sure to leave it down in the description box below. But anyway, so I'm going to show y'all how I do my brows, because I'm pretty sure you guys want to know how I do my brows. So most importantly, this is something I've been doing forever, it seems like. I've been doing this technique where I start at the end of my brows. A lot of people start at the beginning of the brows, and that's something that I actually used to do when I first started doing my brows. But I realized that when you start doing it at the end of your brows, you're actually able to form that shape that your brow is. Everybody doesn't have the same brow shape. So someone may do their brows differently than you, or you may do your brows differently than the other person. I'm just showing you guys how I get my brows to look like the way they look, because I feel like I do a pretty good job at them. Another thing is that when I'm doing the bottom of my brows, I don't go all the way to the beginning. I don't go all the way to the beginning when I'm doing my brows, the bottom line. And this applies for the top part as well. When I do the top line of my brows, I do not go all the way to the beginning, just because I feel like you want it to be natural regardless. So when I do it like this, I find that it allows my brows to look a lot more natural. is very important if you want to create a natural brow, is that you want to make sure that when you are filling your brows in, that you are doing hair-like strokes. You want to make sure that you're not just painting the product on or just swiping the product on. That is most definitely the fastest way for your brows to look like they're just put on. A lot of people brows be looking fake and be looking like they're tatted on. But when you do it like this, your brows look a lot more natural, and it's very hard to tell that your brows are filled in. And another thing, please do not create a different brow. I hate when people do or make a brow that they don't have. Like, it's very important for you to create and to just go along with the brow that you already have. Your filled in brows should accentuate your natural brows. And when you are filling in your brows, once you do the bottom line and the top line of your brows, when you are filling in your brows, do hair-like strokes. When you are filling in your brows, make sure to do hair-like strokes, because when you do the hair-like strokes with the product, it goes along right well with your actual brow hairs, and it won't just look like you just colored them in. So I'm going to go in with my spoolie, which is at the end of my brow pencil. This brow pencil does come with the spoolie, but some brow pencils don't come with the spoolie. It really just depends on whatever brow pencil that you have. But regardless, just go back in with your spoolie, and then you're just going to brush out the beginning of your brows. When you use the spoolie at the beginning of your brows, like I said, it creates a lot more of a natural gradient look. And then once I do that, I'm just going to go back in with the pencil side, and then I'm just going to draw on, or draw on some natural hair strokes at the beginning. Now, also, another thing that I forgot to mention is, depending on what shade brow pencil that you have, in my particular case, the shade I use is black brown. So you don't want to go in too heavy-handed or too heavy-handedly when you are doing your brows, because it's a lot easy for your brows to look very, very dark. Now, me personally, I don't like a light brown, so I still try to control how hard I go in with the pencil. But if you are using like black or something and you don't want your eyebrows to be looking black, make sure that you go very light-handedly, because it's very easy to build upon rather than trying to take away, especially when it comes to your brows. Also, it's very pigmented, and it's also not waxy. You would think that it would be waxy because it's like $3, but it's actually a very good product for only $3. I made sure to leave it down in the description box below. The wooden pencil, some brow pencils are like wooden, some of them are just like the one that you kind of like screw up. I like the wooden ones because I feel like it gives a lot more of a sharpened look. I love a sharp brow, you guys. So the product that I use to conceal my brows is my Louise Base in the shade 7. You guys already know this. I tell y'all in every video, but you do not have to use the Louise Base. The Louise Base is $15. I like to use either the Louise Base or the LA Girl Pro Concealer in the shade Chestnut. The brush that I use to carve out my brows, I like to use the Morphe E10 brush. Yeah, I really do love this brush. I've been using it a lot lately. It has like a round top, so it's perfect for like trying to get into your arch or trying to get very precise where your eyebrow bone is. Just like how I started at the end of my brows when I was filling my brows in, I like to start at the end of my brows as well when I am putting my concealer or like my Louise Base on. Just like I showed you guys earlier, it allows me to be able to actually see like the actual true shape of my brows. If you're going for a more natural look when you're doing your brows, I would definitely recommend going in with a concealer shade that is like your shade, like that is your exact skin shade, because it's going to blend right into with your skin. And so when I get done carving out the bottom line of my brows, I like to just drag that concealer down just so when I get ready to blend it out at the end. And I do use the same exact shade for when I do the top and the bottom of my brows. The thing is, when I'm carving at the top of my brow, I like to start off at the end. So when I am filling in my brows and also when I am carving at my brows, I like to start off at the end because, like I said, it allows you to be able to see the actual true shape of your brows. You do not want to be making a different brow because it'll be definitely noticeable. And I mean, most of the time, your brows not going to look the exact same. They're not supposed to look the exact same, but they are supposed to be looking as close as possible. But y'all, I can admit my brows look very, very good. I try my best to get my brows to look as best as possible, y'all, because it will literally irk me if my brows do not look good. But I'm just going back in with that brush that I use to carve out my brows. I'm going back in with that and just kind of like going over my brows with it, just so that it won't, like, the color won't look, the concealer won't look so harsh. Once I do that, I like to make a line of concealer in the middle of my brows, and it creates a separation, because when you're doing your brows, it can kind of like a unibrow in a way, because that means because you're not blending it out yet. So I like to go back in with that brush and put some concealer in the middle, and then it automatically separates the two brows. And then I just go back in with like a sponge or whatever brush that I use for like my foundation or anything. I go in with that and I just blend out everything so that, you know, like the concealer around it don't look so harsh for like when I put on my foundation or if I'm doing a full face that day. I mentioned earlier to bring down your concealer so that it'll be, you know, a lot more easy for you to just drag it down into your lids. Like I said, if you're like doing eyeshadows or anything, or if you just want everything to blend together, so you just blend it out your concealer into your lid. Then I'm going to get my spoolie again. Then I'm going to make sure that I brush the beginning of my brows again, because once you blend it out with the brush or like the sponge or whatever, it can look boxy. It can look very boxy. So when you use your spoolie for the beginning of your brows again, it looks a lot more gradient like. Look how my brows look. They look perfect, y'all. And so this step is optional. You don't have to do this step. You could be done once you put your concealer shade on, but I like to go in with a lighter concealer shade, or in my case, I like to go with the Louise Base that's lighter than the shade that I just got done using. I like to use the shade 2. And so I do the bottom, I like outline the bottom of my brows with it, just because I feel like it just allows your brows to look a lot more uplifted, and it just gives a more flattering, like a lighter look, you know, especially like when you're going in with like your eyeshadow colors, or if you're doing a full face beat. I don't do the whole bottom of my brow just because I feel like it can look a little flat. I like to go in like with the end of my brow, like the bottom end of my brow, that makes sense. So you guys can see clear say how I'm doing it and how much product I'm putting on and where I'm putting the product at. So doing this strategy just basically gives your brows a little bit more of a dimension rather than it just looking flat. You know, you want a little more dimension. You want to enhance the already natural brows you have. And then so I'm just going in with my buffing brush that I used to like blend out my eyeshadow bases for my lid. Going in with that, and I'm just bringing that product down so that it can look so great. And you guys can see how it looks like. It goes from like light into like that regular concealer shade that I put on before then. So I love doing this for like when I'm doing my looks where I'm not doing any eyeshadows. I love it because it gives my brows a lot more dimension. It allows my brows to really stand out in a no eyeshadow looks. You guys see why I add that lighter shade. You don't have to, like I said, you don't have to do this. Really just depends on if you want to do it or not. But I really love to do that. So like my last step, what I like to do is I like to go in with a pressed powder. I use the pressed powder, the pressed powder that I use for like my face, 360 Mocha Maybelline Fit Me. Just put that just because you don't want, you want anything to be caking up or cracking up or anything like that. And then just the end result, you guys. Look how each brow looks individual. Like it looks very, very good. It'll look a lot better if I was to have like a whole full face of makeup on, but I don't. So this was just a very detailed, full in-depth video on how I do my brows. Nothing really too much, but I really do love the outcome of this. Make sure to leave down in the comment section below if you guys like me to do any other tutorials or any other video suggestions that you guys would like to see me do. Please make sure to leave a like on this video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on the post notification. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'll see you guys in the next video.